How you doing today? Welcome back to the Stormcast,
Um,
everyone.
ha-
This is the podcast where we talk all things TABC sports. My name is Ellie Hoffberg, and I'm here with my co-host, over today.
Happy Thanksgiving Eve. It's nice to have a nice weekend off. Um, uh, Going into the break on a bit of a winning note with some of our teams. Actually, no, yeah, I think the core four. I think all of our teams have gone into the break on a winning note. So that's it's very nice to see that.
Most definitely. Happy Thanksgiving Eve, Thanksgiving, I guess, when you're listening to this. We're going to start it right here. Varsity hockey. Varsity hockey, last time we spoke was 3-0. They lost both 6-3. Probably the two contenders in the league, if it would be those two. Both aided by their star players. For Frisch, it was Pomerantz, and for SAR, both scores ending in 6-3. Both teams scoring shorthanded goals, despite lots of power plays. A lot of similarities between those two games, more in depth. However, well, Ramaz in a tight game. Ramaz is a very underrated team, and a win against MTA this past Thanksgiving break on a win. So, Orion, what have been your takeaway? Two losses were, again, team fought hard in both those games, and also two very solid wins.
Yeah, I think the team is where they expect it to be. They're beating the teams they're supposed to be beating, and they've lost to the two teams that they were not expected to win going in. Um, yeah, Frisch and SAR are definitely two of the favorites. SAR won JV 2 years ago, so you have that core, with the exception of Adine Katler, who's now with us, and Frisch have guys who on their team this year that they didn't have 2 years ago. They have guys who play ice hockey who are now playing this year with the floor team. Uh, Pomerantz in particular, who's considered one of, if not the best player in the league. Um, so yeah, I will say, despite not coming out on top, there were definitely some good positives to take out of those losses. I think we outscored both teams in the third period. Feel free to fact check me there. But
I
we've
think
had
that's true.
strong. What was
I
that?
think that's true. I think that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, we got to learn how to play complete games against these perennial contenders. But you know, I think the story of our season so far in all these games, even the games that we've won, including the comfort behind wins over Ramaz and Orr, is that we're a third period team, and now we have to figure out how to translate that third period play into the same type of play in the first and second periods. Um, I think goal scoring has been a struggle. Injuries from time to time. Jaden LaFell returned in the MTA game, so that was definitely reassuring. Um, it was very important to not only beat MTA, but beat MTA in convincing fashion, because now varsity hockey go into very, very, very grueling part of their schedule now. They play SAR, DRS, and Frisch. Um,
Yeah.
so
So
uh, yeah,
you lead us directly. I think we'll talk about the team's performance also for another few minutes, but the schedule does not get any easier. Right now, they're 5-2. Those five wins are going to be massively important because they're going on Wednesday, this 2 weeks from tonight, I think, and 2 weeks from Wednesday. Um, yeah, 2 weeks from tonight, they will be going. SAR will be coming to for a rematch. Again, we have the advantage there, and it's the Weather Center. But SAR obviously defeated us last time, and they are the defending champions, as you mentioned.
SAR actually,
And
not. I hate to interrupt, but SAR actually have a very good track record playing at TABC.
yeah, last year we defeated them in what was a chippy game, but did they defeat us 2 years ago at home?
Um, did they defeat us 2 years ago at home in varsity? Um, I'm not sure.
Not
I
sure.
want to. I want to say that we went into that championship game against DRS with only one loss. That DRS game.
So it could be that
Yeah.
DRS game. But I speaking of DRS, that Motse Shabbos, Green to see if TABC can handle the greenhouse. Um, unlike 2 years ago, where they lost there in convincing fashion. Last year, DRS came to TABC and on the Winter Classic night, and TABC shredded them. I think like 5-1 final score, something like that, 4-1.
Oh,
And
really?
this,
I thought it was only like 2-0.
oh really? Maybe I'm going crazy. Maybe I'm misremembering a game.
Yeah.
That's my bad. I think I'm misremembering or read more than myself. But I was wrong. Okay, whatever. We beat them, and obviously we didn't get the championship game. And this looked a little shaky at times. Lost to SAR, but again, DRS will always be in the upper echelon of the league. Getting Jacob Stern from Hafter and a lot of the years plus the JV team that won the championship next year. So this gauntlet of Saul Sandel's going to have to continue his great performance. He really impressed in the both games, and he held firm. Of course, 6 goals on that catchy, but considering how many shots on net there were, just impressive. The goal scoring's got to improve. Jaden LaFell coming back should be a big help. And Oren, what other keys? What other things have you taken away? And what are the keys to winning these next few games?
Um, they just have to. They have to be unified. They have to. They have to be compact. They have to stick together. Um, you know, I think it's just a matter of they have to really. They really have to. They really have to stand up to these. Like I said, they're beating the teams that they're supposed to be beating. They really have to. They really have to hold their own more against these perennial contenders. They have to hold their own against the Frishes, the SARs, the DRSs. Saul Sandel's playing fine, but uh, they really, they gave up 6 against Frisch. They gave up 5 to SAR. They have to keep these games low scoring if they want to have any shot of beating those teams that are in the higher echelon of the league.
After that, so it's going to be a really team, and honestly, the schedule doesn't get so much easier after that as well. Games after that, and I'm gonna rematch against Ramah, a team that gave them trouble. So a lot of hope in this varsity hockey team. I hope that they can succeed, but we're gonna have to see them actually beat the perennial, one of the real contenders. If they want to go into the postseason with a good seed and respect and other teams. Any final notes on
Yeah,
hockey?
I think the goal should be a first round home playoff game. Um, I expect them to beat Kushner again. I expect them to beat MTA again. I expect them to beat Hank in the playoff revenge game. Um, yeah, it'd be nice if they can get that statement win over SAR, Frisch, or DRS. Um, for morale, for confidence. But yeah, I think they're a lock for the playoffs at this point, and the goal should be hosting a first round playoff game. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, moving on to JV hockey. JV hockey is one of our 2 undefeated teams left. Well, us later. We'll JV hockey is 0-1. They tied against Folk. I believe they beat YDE also since we last spoke, and they beat Flatbush. I'm not sure exactly which game it happened before or after. Point is, the team is 4-0-1 against Frisch. It was a hard fought game. Max Moskoff was back in net. Played incredibly. Offense couldn't really get so much going. I mean, first goal, very impressive performance, and 4-0-1. This JV, what's really stuck out to you, Oren, from this JV hockey team?
Yeah. I think I think we learned a lot about them in the Frisch home game because they trailed against Ramaz. They ended up winning that game. They trailed against YDE, and they ended up winning that game. Rambam was a breeze. Flatbush was a breeze. But the Frisch game, we were finally going to see them battle tested for the first time. And I think for the most part, I think they outplayed Frisch. And I think there were times where TABC deserved to get 2 points out of that game. Um, Sometimes it goes the way it goes. What's notable about JV is that they're only going to play Frisch once. You play every team in the league only once. So if we play Frisch again, it won't be until the finals. So yeah, it's great that the team is still undefeated. After Thanksgiving break, they'll host Hafter, who I've heard are very decent, actually tied DRS, the defending champs, so that's notable. SAR are also a very strong team from what I've heard. But I think what I learned from the first
Apologize. Can you hear? Can you hear me?
yes.
Okay, I apologize. So
Hmm.
yeah, JV is coming up, and I think that really any final notes on JV hockey, Oren?
No, I think Noah Schwabel, Jack Solomon, and Devin Allen are doing a great job leading the team as alternate captains. I think Alan Rosner has really stepped up. I think he has one of, if not the most dangerous slap shot in the league. Well, I like to see him and Schwabel go toe to toe in like a with a radar gun to see who shot faster. But the team's in good spirits right now. It's crazy. Last year's JV team, we were concerned if they were going to miss the playoffs for the second year in a row. But now
Yo,
we're
I
looking at
just
the
want to say,
year's team, and I think there are a lot of people who can really envision this team playing in the championship game again for the second year in a row.
yo, hello, can you
Hope
guys
so.
hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hey Kessler,
Okay,
what's up?
I just want to say that
Hi,
I'm on a
Noah.
drive right now with Alan Rosner in the car, and we just heard that shout out, and he has something to say to the voice. So
I really appreciate everyone's love on the Stormcast, and hopefully we can win the ship this year, unlike last year. Let's go Storm!
Okay, I think we can agree with Alan Rosner and as legendary Micha Black put Oren.
Also, go back. Also, Mika Block, shout out to you. Call of the year. There hasn't been a better call in TABC history. I think we got it here today.
And there never will be
I
a
mean,
greater call.
yeah, just very impressive call by Micha Block. Micha Block was on the call in that JV first game. So JV team is halfway done with the like not running out of time, but this team doesn't have so many competitive games left on the schedule. They're playing MTA. That shouldn't be competitive as far as I'm aware. They're playing Hasker. That can be
Right,
semi-competitive.
MTA and
Competitive.
Barkai. Mm.
Me get to 7 wins. That the minimum, and the hope is that we could perhaps get to 8 or even 9 wins. Moving on, any hockey or just we're ready to move on to varsity basketball?
I think we're ready. It's like I said, love Allen. That was a surprise. That was probably one of the best Stormcast surprises we've ever got. Um, no, I think they are in a very good place. And I'm looking forward to the second half of their schedule.
Yeah. So the varsity basketball is one of the teams that has perhaps struggled the most. Last time we recorded, they were 1-1 heading. They unfortunately lost that game in very close fashion. Akiva Morgan got hurt during that game, has not played since. I mean, he played in that game, has not played since. Then we played lost there. Everyone struggled. We were 1-3, 2 wins against JEC and MT and or apologize. The Oregon without play without Youngstown Faber have helped the team bring down to 3-3. But again, Oren, listen, we've done 2-2 since we losses and 2. What are your takeaways from this team? Who's impressed you in Morgan's absence? What are the keys to getting back to excellence and the upcoming schedule ahead?
Yeah, I think this is the perfect opportunity for a reset. The team is now 500. So 500 in sports terms usually means like you have a clean slate. It's an opportunity to press the reset button. Hopefully, Borgen is back and ready to go next week because you have 2 really difficult games in Hillel and Frisch. I think what we've learned in these past 2 games without Borgen, well, Faber played in the JEC game, but he didn't play last night against Orr, is that, we talked all year about this team having 2 scoring threats in Borgen and Faber that can hurt and kill you in so many ways. I'd like to add Naftali Hochstein to that conversation. I think he's the third option as a real scoring threat. And if the team can tighten some things up and lock in defensively, we could be in for some surprises. But I think in terms of the remaining schedule, three games that I'm highlighting are the one MTA game and the two Hillel games. Because if you look at the schedule, if you look at the standings right now, the middle of the pack, it's really really tight in the middle there between Hillel, MTA, and TABC. Ramaz and SAR and Frisch are starting to gain some breathing room. So in terms of if we're going to make the playoffs, we're going to have to win those. We're going to have to win those three games, and it all starts after Thanksgiving break when we host Hillel and Rabbi Beitler, and I assume that. I assume that if you're able to come to the game, I assume you'll see it as a big zechus to share the scores table with Rabbi Beitler Shlita.
Of course. So I was going to quote about Butler, Maury Rabbi. We discussed the parity of the league. Meaning MTA is a team that beat Hillel. Hillel beat us. We beat Frisch. I mean, obviously you can't play this game always, but the point is that any team can beat any team on a given day. And I'm not saying that every team has the talent to do that, and there's probably 12 teams that can do that to any other team, and that's the danger in this league. Is that TVC could lose against? I mean, I hope it's not true. Obviously, you can lose against MTA in 2 games against him. We're looking really in a really tough situation. Obviously, this team definitely has a talent to win those 3 games. They beat Frisch. Frisch is consensus the number 1 or 2 team in the league right now, behind DRS Flop. Teams, there's so many good teams in the league that I see if we really don't win those, we are missing the playoffs. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen. That just shows how NBA is not a joke. They beat us. So coming back from the Thanksgiving break, that Tuesday night we'll be hosting Hillel. Then that Thursday, Frisch rematch. Frisch obviously going to be looking for revenge and are undefeated since then. Since they lost to us, obviously, that's what I'm saying. Then Monday night, that next Monday night, Kushner will be coming to TBC. That should be a easier game. But again, Kushner is not necessarily a joke. They have very solid players on the team. And then next Thursday, I mean, like 2 weeks from tomorrow, and we're recording this 2 weeks from Thanksgiving, TBC will be heading to SAR. SAR has been playing without one of their best players, Helper. But I don't know if he'll be back at that point. So just it's only going to get harder from here. That's one of the key points I'm going to say here. Varsity key games coming up, and they got to win. And I just want to point. Naftali Hochstein really cares. Up in 16 points. I mean, or was playing without Faber Borgen. Hochstein helped us pull away, along with Yos Khan and really the rest of the team. Everyone getting good minutes. So, or any final takeaways from this varsity basketball team, and how to defeat these, and how to weather these next 4 games.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knew that. I think if you rank everybody on an SOS scale, strength of schedule scale, we have one of, if not the hardest schedule. Like we got Magan and DRS out of the way. Still have to play Hillel twice. Still have to play SAR twice. Still have to play Frisch. We assume that the Heschel Kushner games will be wins, but I don't think you can take anything for granted. Yeah, we beat Frisch once, but it is very hard to sweep a team in the regular season. It's very hard to beat a team twice. But it's like I said, winning 2 games in a row, heading into Thanksgiving, getting back to 500, definitely has the spirits lifted, and we'll definitely see that Hillel matchup is going to be critical. It's definitely important that we have Borgen for that game because Hillel have tons of size between Tobias and Terran, and hopefully we get a big pit for that game that night.
Yeah, let's go. Well, it's a lot of big games. If you're on the TFC Storm Sports Chat, I've been emphasizing this a lot. That week from December 2nd until December 12th, Tuesday when we get back from Thanksgiving until Hanukkah, those days are absolutely loaded. I believe we have a game every single day, except for the Fridays. Meaning even Motzei Shabbos we have games. So we're really going to need Pitt to show up there. Pitt makes a difference.
Rabbi P.
And hopefully Rabbi Pete is there too.
All the IPs there too. Shout out Patricia. Really awesome, Rabbi. And moving on to our. By the way, just one of the final note. JEC is also a very solid team. JEC almost beat us. If we lost to JEC, we could have been a very tough.
We would have been in real trouble. Also, if you look at JEC's remaining, if you look. Okay, thank you, Noah.
It's not me. Thanks you. It's not me.
Okay. Back to my thought. Yeah, and if you look at JEC's remaining schedule and compare it to our remaining schedule, JEC have way easier opponents. So it's even more critical that we won that JEC game if anything goes to potential head-to-head tiebreaker.
Yeah. So again, if it's not as simple as we think it is. We can defeat literally anyone. Don't doubt that. We've played every single game close, even against the teams we lost. We beat Frisch. We played MD close. We played DRS close. We played Ramaz not so close, but was without in the second half. Meaning just because this team doesn't end up with does not indicate their talent. And lastly, moving on to their final team, JV Bass is the only undefeated team, only team that's won every single game they've played in. I should put it that way.
Right.
We have discussed interviewing Shai Bakel, so we'll cut there right now. So thank you, Shai, for joining the pod. We'll just talk about some more practical points here. Meaning this team has won the NTSY tournament. They're 4-0 right now, quote unquote easier opponents again. But this weekend over Thanksgiving, they'll be heading to the Shorish tournament. Not heading, it's right here. But in TABC looking to win their title, win their JV basketball looking to win their third straight championship. Sorry, not third straight. Sorry, Boca last year, but third championship in 2 years, and maybe get 4 if they win this and they win Montreal later in the year. But again, a lot of big games coming up from this JV basketball team. They'll be facing a team that lost to the champion. Shout out to Keeper Poppers, Ramaz, on Wednesday night after we get back from Thanksgiving.
It's notable because Ramaz gave them their first loss last year. Could they do it again?
I know that would hurt. I mean, that was a close game last year.
Yeah.
That was in the triple header last year? I believe
that was the Winter Classic. Yeah.
And we missed it we did that game instead of the DRS game.
Yeah, it's back and forth.
Iconic. Yeah. DRS. Then Motzei Shabbos will be heading to Frisch, who probably just played genuinely one of the most incredible games. Double overtime. Munoz hitting a shot that maybe was a little controversial. I mean, I heard some controversy, but just a beautiful shot nonetheless, and incredible effort from both teams. TBC will be heading undefeated, and then immediately after that Wednesday they'll be heading to the team that lost there. That Wednesday. So just, again, schedule's only getting tougher for every single team. This JV basketball team defeated a bunch of teams pretty easily. Defeated and maybe it was a little closer than expected, but defeated Kushner a few nights ago. So, or what have been your takeaways from these past 4 games? And similar to every other team, how is JV basketball going to weather these next few really tough games?
Yeah, my takeaway is that this is a group of winners that we're seeing. You know, Ezra Adams is a varsity caliber player playing at the JV level. He's the best player in the league. There's no question about that. I guess the biggest concern is what I asked Shai Bakel in the interview. You know, it's not great when you're blowing teams out left and right, and you have yet to experience any type of close game this year. You know, so how are you going to be ready for those down to the wire situations? So you know, Ramaz, I expect Ramaz to be another easy win, and you know, then we'll see how Frisch plays out. It's really the talent of Ezra Adams versus the dominance of Joseph Munoz, and we'll see how that plays out. You know, we'll see if between our 3 bigs, Laserson, Zakowski, and Mati Stein, who will have the best chance of neutralizing Munoz.
Yeah, so shout out Michael Zakowski for playing really well in the Kushner game, and these are two teams that are obviously not fresh at TBC, are never unfamiliar. Teams face the JV teams. Once they face on a Frisch won by 25. They played at TBC. TBC won by 25. Boca, I believe, and it was a very close game, and Frisch pulled out in the end. This Frisch team, not a lot of starters now playing for varsity. This team went to the semifinals last year, but again, a lot of turnover. So this is probably going to be one of the biggest tests they face all year, in the sense this team is really good, and not so many matches handle the pure talent this team has with Ezra Adam, Tawny Stein, and so talented. And these freshmen who are obviously incredibly talented. Shout out to all of them. Much playing time they're going to get. Games get close. Listen, I'm not I don't upset him any more than I did the other night. I'm kidding. Yeah, see how this team really plays in close games. This is an unfamiliar, uncharted territory for them. So final notes on this JV basketball team. Oren, any thoughts?
Yeah, just got to keep the pedal to the metal. They're number one in the YLP rankings, and that's all well and good in November. But let's see if they can keep that number one ranking from now all the way up until March.
Yeah, and then Oren, if you want to finish us off with what I try not to have favorite sports, with my true favorite sport, wrestling, and Nate Cutler's favorite sport, ice hockey.
Well, ice hockey's not doing too well right now. Hopefully they'll get that first win eventually. It's hard when your seniors are really the glue of your team, and then you're starting from scratch all over again, where the majority of your stars are freshmen and sophomores. Wrestling, actually, they hosted a tri-meet last week against both SAR and Ramaz, and I think they won 10 out of 18 matches. Notable performances were seniors Maddie Sanders and Svi Huff. And I think
Yeah,
I think they're going to Frisch on Sunday and playing in like some unofficial exhibition type tournament. So we'll see how that goes.
interesting. And also, last year, wrestling, which unfortunately we don't talk about wrestling, but we spoke about how this team doesn't really have enough wrestlers. Are the numbers looking up? I remember last year we had like 8 guys going to Wittenberg or something.
Yeah,
Like that.
there's been some bad luck with injuries. Daniel Delman's been out, but he hopes to still participate in Wittenberg. Aaron Weisel, a freshman, got hurt. It's a very tough sport. It's a very tough sport. I have all the respect in the world for the guys who go out there and do it. Yeah, so that's wrestling. We obviously would like a bigger team, but it is what it is. Ice hockey, I would say it's a rebuilding year. JV basketball, championship or bust. Varsity hockey, I think, are locked for the playoffs. Let's just improve our seating as much as possible. JV hockey, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it's championship or bust the way it is with JV basketball, but there's definitely a lot of high hopes there, and high expectations for that group. And varsity basketball, let's just make the playoffs, and then anything can happen.
Exactly. Varsity basketball, make the playoffs, and let's pull some other team championship in every sport. Whatever. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. It's been a long episode, so if you stayed with us the whole way, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, a good Shabbos, and we'll see you in school after the break. Enjoy your break.